Okay, today, mathematicians, we are going to multiply numbers by using an open array. And I know you know the strategy, but we're going to review it today. Okay? So before we talk about the open array, I want to talk to you about kind of where the open array comes from. So, we're going to look at two simple problems, okay? 3 times 4. Well, one simple problem. 3 times 4. This is the array. This is the difference between open array and array. So I'm going to draw my box. Okay? Now when I do an array, I know that I have 3 times 4. And I'm going to draw a box. It's like an area model. If you were to find the area inside this box, well, I'm going to have 3 lines going this direction, 3 rows, and I'm going to have 4 columns. Correct? So 3 rows, 4 columns. Now what I can do is add these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Does that make sense? Okay, that's the array or the area model. That's what you would do when you're trying to find the area. We know that you can count the number on the side, count across. 3 times 4 is 12. You just know that. Well, this is where the open array comes from. Instead of drawing all those lines, we can put 3, 4. We know that 3 times 4 is 12. Are these the same? Mm-hmm. Same answer, right? Because it's the same problem. But this one we have to draw the lines. So do you understand where open array came from? Mm-hmm. The box is open. There's no lines in it. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Think about 36 times 42. Would we want to use the array to solve that?
No.
No. Do we want to draw 36 lines across and 42 lines down?
No.
Well, that's not efficient, right? We're going to make a mistake, or we're going to run out of room. It's just not efficient. So do you see why we go from the array model to the open array? Because now we can do 36 times 42 with the open array. So that's where it comes from. This is a strategy. This is a strategy that we can use. But we're trying to get more towards this, and then we're going to work towards the standard algorithm. Okay? So let me go back to our chart. We multiply using the open array. We're going to use the same problem. 36 times 42. Now, the cool thing about the open array is we're actually combining several strategies into one strategy. The other day we talked about compatible numbers, correct? Numbers that are easy to multiply. We want to use numbers that are easy to multiply. Can you do 36 times 42 in your head? No, I can't either. I don't know how many people can. So, the nice thing about the open array is it kind of combines more than one strategy together. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So, when we do an open array, we know that, I'm just going to do it right here real quick, we have to break the numbers apart, okay? When we break the numbers apart, we're making compatible numbers. So, 36 times 42. We need to think about the value of each digit. What is the value of this digit? This digit. It's 30, right? Because it's in the tens place. So we know we have 30. What's the value of this digit? 6. And what's the value of this digit? 40, because it's in the tens place. What's the value of this digit? 2. So we broke the number apart. That's called the distributive property. So see how we're tying all these properties together? So we have the distributive property. Are these compatible numbers?
Yes.
Much more compatible than 36 and 42, right? I can handle this. I can do this in my head. Okay? So if you think about the distributive property, it would be 30 times 40. And then you would have 30 times 2. Then you would have 6 times 40. And then you'd have 6 times 2. Okay? So that's the distributive property without the box. Now look what happens when we use an open array. We're going to have exact same numbers. So when we do an array, an open array, we have to take the numbers apart. We just talked about that. But before you go get ahead of yourselves and draw a box and start drawing lines, you need to find out how many digits you have, how many numbers you have after you break it apart. So we already said that we know that 42 is 40 plus 2, correct? And we already know that 36 is 30 plus 6. Now I can divide my box up. And I'm just going to draw a line from where the plus signs are. Split it up here, split it up here. So, do you see how we have the same numbers we had before when we distributed the numbers? these are compatible, this is not so compatible. So now all we have to do is multiply the numbers together. Just like we were going to do, we're just multiplying easier numbers. So we're going to use a little mental math. 3 times 4 is 12. And then I can just add my 2 zeros. Because yesterday we talked about powers of 10. Another strategy. See how all these strategies are coming together? Powers of 10, well I have 2 zeros, that's the hundreds place. So I'm going to have 1200 or 1200. Okay? Now we're going to go down and over. We're going to connect the two numbers without drawing the lines because we don't want a bunch of extra lines. 40 times 6. Well, 6 times 4 is 24. And what am I going to do with my 0? Add it. Because we know that we have 40. Now we're going to come 2, connect the 30. 3 times 2 is 6. What am I going to do with my 0? Add it on. Right? Now, 2 times 6. 12. So, we broke the numbers apart and then we multiplied them all together. Are we done? No, because now we have to add the numbers all up. So I took the numbers all apart, now I've got to put them all back together to get my answer. So, there's 2 ways you can do this. Okay, I would prefer this way, and I'll show you the other way. You can just add straight down, but you need to make sure your numbers are lined up, okay? Is there something wrong, guys? Okay, I want to make sure I didn't do something wrong, did I? Okay, so 0, 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 1. 60 plus 12 is 72, right? So 1440 plus 72, 2, 7 plus 4 is 11, carry my 1, 4 plus 1 is 5, bring down my 1, 15, 12. Now another way that I've seen some friends do it is they bring all the numbers out over here and they stack them all. But the only problem with that is when we start to get really big numbers, you're going to have a bunch of numbers stacked, and that's kind of hard to add. And if you don't line your numbers up, then you'll make a mistake. So do you see why I add down and then combine them? Just makes my work a little bit easier. Okay, you can do either way. So, 15, 12. That's our answer. We broke the numbers apart, we add them back together. So, let's review the steps. Step 1, we break apart the numbers. That means numbers. You guys know that? That's the number sign? Okay. Break apart the numbers. Step 2, we multiply the numbers back together. Bless you. And then step 3, what do? Add them all up. Add together the numbers. And there's our answer. Okay?